of my fully raw experiment. So I've done 7 days of eating pretty much fruit and vegetables supplemented by a very, very small amount of nuts and seeds. So I'm doing it low fat, high carb. And I was doing it first of all for my skin because I've had this skin condition, as you can see. It's sort of flared up a little bit at the moment, but I've had it on and off for ages now. And I've done bouts of raw food before where I've just eaten raw, but it's always been more of a high fat, low carb, because I always had this bit of a stigma about eating too much fruit because of the sugar content. So at most I would have 2 serves of fruit at once, maybe 4 for the whole day, and that would be a day where 4 would be heaps for me. So I'd eat a lot of vegetables, mainly green vegetables. I'd have plant protein powders, super greens, and obviously a lot of fats. So I'd eat a lot of avocados, nuts and seeds and that sort of thing. I always felt really good living like that. For a long time I've lived obviously vegan. I did my vegan challenge last year and I'm totally going to stick with it because I love it. But I've always kind of gone raw breakfast, raw lunch, raw snacks, and then my dinner would be a cooked vegan meal. So like raw till 4 is what I would generally live, but more of a high fat vegan than a low fat vegan. So anyway, if I can rewind a bit to when I broke my arm in December, it was a couple of weeks before Christmas, and I basically for a month did not really move from the couch. It was a really bad break, and I was on all sorts of painkillers and whatever drugs for about 2 weeks. And so I came out of hospital. I could barely even walk up the road. I was just so lethargic and my body was madly trying to detox all this stuff out of me. And I generally eat gluten-free. Like if I'm eating grains, I would eat quinoa and buckwheat, which aren't even really grains, but I generally don't eat a lot of gluten. So it was interesting changing my diet over Christmas because I still lived totally vegan, but when I broke my arm and was basically living on the couch for a month, I kind of became like a junk food vegan. So I was eating a lot of raw treats, vegan ice cream, not that I had bought, not that I'd made, that I'd bought from the shops, and it was full of all sorts of rubbish. And I started eating bread because I couldn't really even make my own food for a while. I was basically just letting Stu make whatever was convenient, and so we kind of went back to eating bread. And by the end of December, my face, I'll post a picture in a minute, but it was really inflamed. I had like almost boils all over my cheeks here. And I thought, right, okay, I'm going to cut out gluten. So hang on, I'll post a picture and I'll come back. Cool, yeah, so you see it's pretty inflamed, pretty red. So what I decided to do, January 1, I thought, okay, I'm going to cut out gluten completely and just see how this impacts on my skin. And I thought, all right, I'll also cut out peanuts, being quite an inflammatory food. I love peanut butter. And I thought, yep, no, I'll just cut out peanuts and gluten. And after 3 weeks, my skin was significantly better. But then I had sort of cut out a lot of the vegan junk food as well that I was eating in December, and had gone back to eating my usual smoothies and salads and nuts and seeds, avocados, that sort of a thing. So I post a picture of that now, me 3 weeks into January. Cool, okay, so now it's been, it was about 5 or 6 weeks from the start of January that I hadn't eaten any bread, and I decided after reading Anthony Williams's book Medical Medium, which is probably the least scientific book on health that I've ever read, but it just totally resonated with me. I absolutely loved his book. So I read it, and he recommended to cleanse and heal the body of all sorts of different ailments, but I was obviously interested in acne, and I've been to lots of doctors about my skin, dermatologists, been to a naturopath, and all except for the naturopath wanted to just put me on medication to see if that worked. So they wanted to prescribe me an antibiotic for both topical, so putting cream on, and have internally. And I would say, okay, well, why? Like, what's that going to do for my skin? And they're like, oh, we'll just see, like, to see if it, kills something that's maybe living inside of you that is causing this inflammation, which I knew would also kill all of my good gut bacteria as well as the bad. So I didn't really want to go down that route. And my gut just told me it's not that. It's the antibiotics aren't going to do anything, and they wanted to put me on them for like 6 months. So I've kind of been on a bit of a mission to get to the actual cause of what is this skin thing and to heal it. So after reading Anthony's book, I thought, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go 28 days, fully raw, low fat and high carb. And basically I've just eaten fruit and vegetables for the week. And I had no idea that, you know, a few days in, I have like an insane amount of energy. Like I need to sleep a whole lot less. I wake up so early and I'm just like pumped and ready to go. And I have always felt quite energetic on a plant-based diet, but this is next level. It is, I feel like I'm a bit high half the time because I just have that much energy, and it honestly feels amazing. So skin aside, I love this low-fat, high-carb thing just for that reason alone. But just before I started, so I started this on Tuesday last week, must have been. I actually started on Monday, but I posted about it on Tuesday. On the Sunday, I thought, right, my skin is actually looking pretty clear. Like, you know, a lot of this redness had gone right down because I'd been off gluten for 6 weeks. And probably silly me, but I thought, look, let's just have a little experiment. I'm going to eat a bread roll and just see if my skin flares up, knowing I was going to start this fully raw thing on the next day. So I did have a bread roll and I loved it because bread is delicious. And the next day my skin was fine. The following day it started to flare up, and the day after it fully flared up, which makes me think that yes, gluten for me is it is definitely one of my triggers. I know there's probably a lot of emotional things that could be going on that's also affecting, you know, me flaring up in all sorts of things. We hold a lot of emotions in our body, and I feel like since going through Tony Robbins' program, I can totally manage my anxiety. All that sort of thing is not a problem for me, but there's so many layers to us, and you know, I could have things buried in there that I just don't even know are there. So I thought, look, I'm going to do everything I can with my food because I can totally control that, and see if I can heal it going through the food route. So yeah, it's been a week. It's kind of going down again after that, you know, big flare up a few days ago after eating the bread. But honestly, like people keep saying, oh, you know, how are you doing? Is it really hard? It has been so easy this time around. I've tried to do fully raw like this a couple of times, maybe twice before, but you've really got to embrace fruit on a diet like this. If you are trying to do it mostly on vegetables, which in the past that's kind of what I was doing, you're just not getting enough calories. I was getting tired, I was getting hangry, and I think in the end I would still overeat on fat because I was hungry. Whereas now I'm trying to get a lot more fruit in, but I'm still kind of sticking to only maybe 4 serves of fruit at once, and then supplementing that with a lot of vegetables because I like things pretty green. I don't need them super sweet. So if I'm having a smoothie bowl, it's at least half or more packed with spinach, celery, cucumber, any greens that I have, I'll chuck in, and I might just try and keep it at one or two to really streamline my digestion. So that's been my week 1 experience. I will keep you posted as to how this is all going, and I really I just want to heal it once and for all, and if Fully Raw is going to do it, I will totally stick with it. I think going forward I will try Raw Till 4 as a high carb, low fat vegan after I've done my month of Fully Raw, and just see how the two compare for me, because eating Fully Raw, it is a little bit socially awkward. You know, you go places, or if I go out for dinner, it's like I'm going out for lunch on Thursday, and I'm going to call ahead and see if they can make me just a simple salad with no oil, no nuts, you know, and I might bring my own dressing just to pour on top. So you kind of got to be really organised so that you don't starve. And just eating the foods you love. Like I'm eating all of the things that I just love to eat and feeling fantastic. So that's been my experience. Comment below if you have either gone through this journey or you want to. Like I know so many people are like, oh, gee, I'd really like to do that, but I just couldn't. I've kind of always thought that it's hard, but once you experience this level of energy, like I'm kind of not nagging, but I'm like, Stu, do this with me. Like, is he on Sundays passed out napping for about 2 hours, and I'm like, come on, like, ah. So, you know, I just said, do it for a week, just 1 week. and then see how you feel and see if your energy starts going up like mine has. So cool. Anyway, look at me. I'm all jittery with energy. So I'm going to go do some stuff. But yeah, thanks for listening. This has been my experience week 1, and keep watching for my posts, and I'll keep you updated on my progress. Thanks, guys.